Welcome to the official Colorado Sports Hall of Fame podcast. I'm Dave Plati.
And I'm Jim Saccomano, and we are your co-hosts. Between us, we have 88 years of experience working in media relations in Colorado sports. Myself with the Broncos, Dave with CU, and back in the day, both of us with the Denver Bears, with several side experiences.
Our topics are mostly going to center around sports history within and around the state of Colorado, leading into the revealing of the state's top 150 moments heading into the state's sesquicentennial next August 1st. That's the date for Colorado's 150th birthday after being admitted to the Union as the 38th state in 1876. A select committee of state sports veterans have selected those top 150 moments, and those 9 people on that committee have over 250 years involved in state of Colorado sports. So we're pretty confident that we're going to hit the mark on that list. There'll be some people wondering, hey, how come this wasn't included? And why was this rated there? Why is this rated there? But that's going to be the fun of this because it's totally subjective. But the key thing is to remember these moments in our state history.
Dave, I will be amazed if anybody can think of one that isn't included here. This is our 7th podcast. We hope you're enjoying them. We're planning to have an occasional guest or two from these moments as they relive them with us on our podcast, which are archived on the Colorado Sports Hall of Fame website, coloradosports.org. Click on the menu bar and then podcasts.
In the interim, we have been revisiting some of the special moments in Colorado sports history. I have now isolated over 1,900 of those moments in state history, and we'll be recognizing an event or two as in and around the anniversary dates. For example, I'll look back at some of the events from today, December 18th, in Colorado sports history. First up, on this date in 1978, though news had started to simmer locally on Monday, news that started to simmer locally on Monday Night Football, the late, great, obnoxious Howard Cosell broke the story that CU was going to hire Chuck Fairbanks as our next head football coach. Bill Mallory had been fired 2 weeks earlier. Eddie Crowder had flirted with Tom Osborne at Nebraska, but eventually it wound up going to Chuck Fairbanks. He was still coaching New England, who was playing Miami that night. The Patriots had already clinched the AFC East title, but got drubbed by Miami that night, 23-3. That set Patriot Nation into a frenzy. Like, what is Chuck doing? That was the frenzy back there. Out here, it set off a firestorm that lasted until April. There were all kinds of litigations going on, court rulings. Fairbanks was finally free to coach the Buffs on April 4th after CU agreed to pay the Patriots $200,000.
On December 18th and 19th, 1962, Denver Broncos head coach Jack Faulkner was named the AFL Coach of the Year on back-to-back days. First by the UPS, and then by UPI, and then by the Associated Press, sports writers and broadcasters working for both wire services. He coached the Broncos to a 7-7 record. And I remember at that time it was like magical because the Broncos had been so bad for so long, and they continued pretty much.
Now, my list has some wacky ones I call outside the 9 dots or outside the box. This was at some point in December 1980, and we can't pinpoint the date, but if you remember the first Colorado hockey team, the original Colorado Rockies, the cheerleader was Crazy George, and he claims to have invented the wave during a game at McNichols Arena. Saying it was inspired by accident, a delayed response by a section of the fans had them get up on their feet, and a few seconds later, the next section over got up on their feet, and before you knew it, the entire McNichols Arena was going around in circles, and that is how the wave was born. So credit good old Crazy George. If you remember him, I think he was 5'0" with a weird wig and a bald head.
Yeah, he was crazy, all right. On December 18th, 1976, Denver Broncos owner Gerald H. Phipps relieved John Ralston of his general manager duties, but said he would remain as the team's head coach. But a little over a month later, on January 31, he resigned as the coach. In 5 seasons, the Broncos were 34, 33, and 3, including the franchise's first three winning seasons since being a charter member of the AFL in 1960. That was just some amazing times. At that time, I was doing a radio show with Lyle Alzado, who was out for the season, and Lyle was updating me every day with what was happening. It was just amazing to listen to.
Hmm. Now, of course, speaking of amazing, the Broncos are on one of the all-time best runs right now, winning 11 straight games. They're 12-2. So I don't know if Broncomania is back in a sense like it was in 1977, but that's what we're going to do today. We're going to revisit the original Broncomania when the Broncos took the world by storm, literally the city, state, and region, if not the nation. And eventually we went and played America's team in the Super Bowl. But I think maybe at that point the Broncos had superseded Dallas as America's team because the country always loved an underdog. So that was the first year that Denver won their first AFL and/or AFC West Division title, finishing 12-2, qualified for the playoffs, and in the process beat Pittsburgh and Oakland to earn the first of 8 Super Bowl berths in franchise history.
Of course, right in the middle of it was quarterback Craig Morton. In his first season with Denver, after having been acquired in a trade with the New York Giants for quarterback Steve Ramsey and a fifth-round draft pick, he would eventually be named the AFC's Comeback Player of the Year and earn all AFC honors in leading the Broncos to a 12-2 record and the playoffs. He was the first quarterback to start for 2 different teams, and in 1986, he was inducted into the Colorado Sports Hall of Fame. Craig, welcome to our podcast. Before we relive 1977, relive it, where are you living these days, and are you doing anything other than enjoying retirement?
I'm living in Mill Valley, California, which is a little north of San Francisco, and I watch a lot of history TV.
How about that? When the 77 season happened, which truly is magical, and I remember Terry Bradshaw said after we beat him in the playoffs, he said, well, the fans and everybody should enjoy it because there's nothing like the first time, and there's never been anything like 77 again. At what point did you believe something special was happening that season? Because you came to Denver as a grizzled veteran. You were experienced.
Well, let me see. I don't know. I thought we were a pretty good team, and we kept winning. But I don't know if there's really any certainty that we were going to go as far as we did. I always knew we had a chance because of the defense.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like our team this year. The defense is playing real well. Bo is really doing well. But when you have a defense that plays like that, you've always got a chance, and especially when you get into the big games.
Mm-hmm. The terms Orange Crush defense and Broncomania emerged over the course of the season. How were those accepted by the team, or were they? I mean, the guys live in the city and they read the papers and they hear the TV and radio the same as everybody else.
Well, the Orange Crush, was the defense loved it. Broncomania was for the people. They kind of left off our offense. They never talked about us.
But still, boy, that offense, the M&M connection, it's forever. What did it mean to you to have that kind of fan support and eventual national attention?
Well, the first game I played with the Broncos, that's when they expanded the stadium from 40 to 75,000.
Mm-hmm.
So the first game I played was before 75,000 people, and it was packed. I mean, and the people were going berserk, and they didn't even know what kind of team we had. But they were just happy to be in the stands, and more people got a chance to see the games. And, I mean, they kind of just fed us along. We just kind of carried their spirit, and it's a tough place to be playing in that stadium.
You were popular.
Those people won't give you a break if you're on the opposing side. So it was always great playing before them. Any team will tell you, and it's more so today because most teams have fans like this now that just have these rabid stadiums that go berserk. But I think we were kind of one of the first ones that really did, outshine themselves. So that really helped us. and anybody that's ever played before, great fans like the Denver fans, they really do help.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of you get a break and you make another break, and then somebody makes a great play, and then Haven gets a great catch, and
Oh,
Upchurch
yeah.
makes a good catch, and Riley Odoms, and so we're just going down the field.
The M&M connection emerged. You and Haven Moses was one of your favorite targets. Teamed up for nearly 800 yards and 6 touchdowns, including the playoffs. But it was really magical, Craig.
Yeah, we worked a lot. We had certain routes that was very hard to stop, and not too many people could. He just ran a great. I guess our favorite route was a dig route, which is like 15 to 20 yard in, and you just threw right off the wherever that safety was. You either threw behind him or threw a little bit in front of him, and they expect Haven to be in one of those holes.
Great. When you beat Pittsburgh on Christmas Eve and then Oakland on New Year's Day to get to the Super Bowl, I remember specifically that you were in the hospital almost the entire week going into the Oakland game, and Red Miller kept it a secret. It was almost impossible. What are your memories about that, Craig?
Well, my memories were that I was hurting, and there was in my mind I didn't see any way possible I was going to play. My leg had about, I don't know, an inch just solid around my leg, just solid blood. And I remember that Jack Dalbin would come in. He was a doctor of
chiropractic.
He was a chiropractic doctor, and he tried some new things on me, but nothing really worked. They'd come in, the nurses and doctors would come in every few hours and try to drain the blood out of my leg. So nothing really happened. Red brought me the game plan on Wednesday night, and we went over it, and I was like, yeah, right. But I just thought, if I can get there, I will play. And a good friend of mine, Lauren Hawley, I was in town for the game, and he came and got me at the hospital, and took me a while to get out of bed. And he said, what do you think? And I said, I don't know. And he said, you got to play. You've waited too long for this. And so I said, you're right. So I went to the stadium, and I got in that whirlpool and stayed in there a couple hours. One thing I did do is I made sure that everybody on that team saw my leg, because I needed all the help that they could give me. And so there's stories, and it's a true story, is that I tried to put on my clothes, and I could get my pants on, and I could fit into my shoes, but I couldn't tie my shoes. So Red came over to me, and he says, what do you think? And I said, you tie my shoes, and we'll beat them.
Man,
so
oh
he
man,
got down
Craig.
on his knees in front of the whole team and tied my shoes, and it was amazing, because the thing is I could back up, but as far as run, I couldn't move very fast forward, which was not unlike my whole career. So as long as I could just set up and throw, yeah, I was all right. And
I remember Red told the offensive line in the locker room, he said, look at this man here. If he gets knocked down, we can't win. So we got to keep him upright. And you told me in a book thing that I wrote once, you told me that you got knocked down twice, but both times it was on your good side. And thank God for that.
That was on my muscle side.
Jeez. God darn.
I had no muscles.
Amazing. Just amazing.
There's always a surprise team or two that gets off to a good start. And of course, Denver opened up 5-0 or 4-0. You go into Oakland and pace them 30-7. What was it like to do that in front of their home crowd? And that must have been one of the best plane ride homes ever.
No question. Our plane was rocking and rolling those days, because I think one game we were coming home, and we didn't know if we were going to be in the playoffs or not. And the pilot put on the game, and I think it was Houston and maybe Oakland.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah, and so one of those teams had to lose, and I guess they lost because that plane was rocking, and it was dipping in and out of the sky. The pilot didn't even need to fly it.
I remember Red Miller with one of his post-game prayers: "Hail Mary, full of grace, keep the Raiders in second place."
That happened.
Yeah, I know.
Now, 2 weeks after you beat Oakland there, they came here and beat us. But at that point, you're both tied for the division lead. And was there any panic that set in because they had Seattle the next week, which was an expansion team? They were going to kill them. And we had Pittsburgh coming to Denver in the middle of their dynasty. Did that game turn out to be the statement game of the season that you were back right on track?
The Pittsburgh game?
In the regular season that you went 21-7.
Yeah. That was the first game we played them.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and after that game I went home and got married.
Oh man. Craig, you did it all. How about the game where you beat the Colts in Denver and Tommy Jackson returned the interception like 77 yards, stepped in front of Don McCauley and just took it and went? Remember that?
Yeah, amazing. Tommy was incredible in those playoffs. He intercepted 2 against Bradshaw in the Pittsburgh game in a playoff game. Yeah, well, it's once again, you just played our defense. They were always going to make a play or do something great, and just kind of minimize our mistakes and do what we do best, and just hold on to the ball. And if it doesn't work out, let the defense take it back for us.
You've talked about offense and defense, but there was a very special player on special teams, and I'm sure you know who I'm talking about.
Lumpty Dumpty?
Is that Rick Upchurch?
Oh, no. I would say there was, of course, Rick Upchurch, of course, who's, all pro and all, the best. But there's another one, the lineman, Glenn Hyde. We called him Lumpty, down Dumpty.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, but Upchurch, there's no better than Upchurch.
Uppy was incredible.
He was just the best.
It's good to see him in the Ring of Fame. Of course, joining you and Haven.
Yeah,
and
it took them a while, but they got him in, and that's great.
Yeah.
And then the last one I was there, they put in Riley Odoms and Steve Foley, which were 2 great additions too. Congratulations to our ownership. We got great owners.
Yeah, we do. We do. We've been lucky with the ownership all the way through, Craig.
No question. Yeah.
And we're lucky to get you.
We're inducting Steve Foley into the Colorado Sports Hall of Fame in the next class is April.
The next class is April?
Yep, and that Steve Foley's finally going in.
All right, we got a bunch of them in there now.
Yeah, we do.
It was fertile grounds for a long time. Now it's, man, it looks like the whole side is with those great plaques, statues.
Yeah.
That's another great idea of Pat Bones.
Yes, it was. It was.
Yeah.
I remember touring Yankee Stadium with Pat's daughter. We were looking for something. And she loved the idea of Monument Park. I think ours is better because it's open 24/7, 365. You can it's lighted at night. It's fantastic if somebody goes to it, looks at it.
Yeah, it is great. I've had a lot of friends go by there at night. And it's a great tradition.
Craig, we were so fortunate to have you at quarterback. We were so fortunate. You were a truly great player.
You're very nice, Saki. I appreciate it.
No, I'm very honest.
I'll buy you some sake and chicken.
Oh, okay. Thanks. I'll hold you to that.
Okay.
Craig, have you been following this year's team at all, Craig?
I'm sorry?
Have you been following this team's this year's team at all?
Yeah, I've seen a couple games. There's I haven't seen I've maybe seen 3 or 4 of them, but they're really a good team. They're so well coached, and that defense. I always when I watch games, I watch the defense. If the defense is great, then the offense should win.
Yeah,
I
we'll
always
see what
want to know what a
happens the rest of the
quarterback
way.
thinks. I always know what a quarterback thinks of another quarterback. What do you think of Bo Nix?
Oh, I always liked him. I thought that when they chose him, he was. I liked him better than any of the quarterbacks. And they took. There was a lot. As there always is in draft time, about quarterbacks or whoever you're taking. And Bo was taken. I don't know. Was he 5 or 6 taken?
Yeah, he was like the 6th guy taken, I guess.
Yeah, I thought he was the best of them all.
People don't
The
realize.
other guys have some. The other guys got some great shining abilities, but Bo is strong. He's well put together. He's got great fundamentals, and they kept getting better, and they keep getting better. So he said that's why he's so good. He's just got great fundamentals. He knows what to do. Great eyes, great peripheral vision. So you've got those, and he's got a great arm, and he can throw any ball. So they're going to be tough to beat.
People don't realize, Craig, you were recruited by Marv Levy to go to Cal, and you were also, besides everything else, you were a punt return guy, and that continued until you blew out your knee, and then became just a quarterback. Just a quarterback, I say.
Yeah, well, that was the dumbest thing in the world, making me return punts.
Yes, it was.
Jeez.
Craig, thanks for sharing these memories with us. We've really enjoyed having you on.
Well, I love you, Sock.
I love you too, Craig.
I don't know these other guys, but I'll get to know them.
They're great. They're great guys.
Well, I'll tell them ahead of time. I love you guys too.
Thanks, Craig.
Okay. Nice to talk to you guys. Thanks.
See you.
Thank you.
A super
always,
guy.
Yeah, it's really good. As always, we like to conclude our podcast by highlighting one of our favorite "Did you know" moments from our backgrounds with CU, the Denver Bears, Broncos, or the state in general. Jim is up first, says he created a stat. That was from last week. Scratch that line. But Jim's up first again this week.
Well, this is from October 15th, 1984. In one of the most memorable Monday night football games, the 200th televised by ABC, Denver defeated Green Bay in blizzard conditions at Mile High Stadium. And I mean, it's nothing like the weather we've had now. But the Packers fumbled on their first 2 plays from scrimmage. Steve Foley, recovering the first, goes 22 yards for a touchdown. Louis Wright does the same from 27 yards. The Broncos lead 14-0 with just 27 seconds gone in the game. Denver held on to win 17-14. 36-yard second quarter field goal by barefoot Rich Carlos was the difference. Now, Lynn Dickey had really big hands, and he was able to throw the ball for the Packers. They came from behind, but they couldn't quite win it. 62,546 braved the elements, and I mean, there were some elements to attend that game in person.
I think Lynn Dickey threw for something like 370 yards that night.
Yeah, yes.
And if you look at the highlights, that snow on the field was 4 or 5 inches deep the whole time.
Oh, incredible. I mean, I kept thinking, well, it's bound to stop. It's going to stop. It's October 15th. Never stopped, Dave.
And people that know me know that I'm also pretty much tied into the music world. I'm on the Music Hall of Fame board, and my brother's big in the profession, being David Bowie's guitar player for 7 years. But if you've noticed lately, at Mile High Stadium anyway, they started playing "Take Me Home, Country Roads" by John Denver, and when West Virginia comes up, they sub in Colorado, and that reminded me way back in 1972. And this is so outside the box, it's crazy. But back in 1972, and this is well before there was more than 1 or 2 college football games on the air every week. And we need to pay homage to Chuck Ninus, who passed away this past Tuesday for what he did in the ruling 2 years after that, or excuse me, in 1984 to get more college football on TV. But back then, Colorado was playing Oklahoma, and they played "Take Me Home, Country Roads." And a week later, West Virginia was on. They played John Denver's, oh, excuse me, they played Rocky Mountain High for Colorado, Oklahoma. And then they opened the West Virginia broadcast with "Take Me Home, Country Roads." And so for some reason, 55 years later, I tied those two together when I heard last Sunday that they were playing "Take Me Home, Country Roads" at Mile High Stadium. But it's kind of like the phenomenon with "Sweet Caroline" with the Boston Red
Yes.
Sox that's kind of spread to other stadiums. So that's the music world, or the music note of the podcast.
Yeah, I kind of hope it continues. That was cool. That was cool to see at the end of the game and listen to.
Yeah, and I think they still pipe in other John Denver songs anyway, which is kind of nice. And it's kind of funny is we wanted to play Rocky Mountain High at CU a few years ago, and because there's a line in there sitting around the campfire, everybody's getting high. The university administration nixed us playing that song. It's like, come on, it's John Denver. We want to do something original at the stadium, but sometimes you get these campus bureaucrats to say, no, you can't do that. I also distinctively remember after we went through our ordeal with the media and our recruiting incident, we wanted to come out against Colorado State to Twisted Sisters. We're not going to take it, and they nixed that too. So, a little music trivia for you today, folks.
Boy, you know the trivia, Dave. You really do.
Well, we hope you're enjoying our podcast. Keep spreading the word. Click those like buttons when you can. We'll be back the next 2 weeks before we start our countdown the first week in January. Our sponsors are Pasta Jason Boulder, 10th and Pearl, and I think they have power. I know they had wind. There was videos on the internet yesterday of their waitresses being blown around. And of course, the favorite place of the late Bill Walton to eat when he came to Boulder. And Colorado Collegiate Chronicle by the famous Tim Simmons, who was my mentor at CU. He's put together a really good summary of what's going on in college athletics that he puts out probably now twice weekly. So anyone who wants to subscribe, send me an email.
It's great. And as always, we look forward to you tuning in weekly to enjoy our reminiscing with our Colorado Sports Hall of Fame guests, as well as our trips back into the state's sports history. A reminder that the Colorado Sports Hall of Fame class for 2026 will be inducted this coming April 16th at the Hilton City Center in downtown Denver.